Figured I'd do a short video for you guys today on how to do a drop-in recone assembly. What we have here is a TC7 motor and a 10-inch 12-spoke basket. I went ahead and put together the recone assembly right away. It's a copper round dome coil, single medium spider, DD cone assembly. I know there's been a lot of questions about how to do a drop-in recone. First thing you want to do is shim the coil, and you want your shims to be somewhat tight in there. You don't want it to be too stiff to where the coil doesn't move at all, but you want it to be snug where it holds the coil in place. I have some custom PVC shims that I use, and you also want it to be shimmed all the way around the coil. That way it's not playing to one side or the other. Now with my shims in place, I'm going to drop in the assembly just to test fit it. See, they're tight enough to suspend. It's tight enough to suspend the coil up, yet keep it aligned where I can still move it. So if you notice, everything is still suspended. It's being held by the shims right now. So now that you've seen that that's shimmed properly, you want to remove it and glue your landing. Now with a nice bead of glue all the way around the landing, you want to take your drop in and set it in. Push it down to that landing so that the spider touches. And now what you want to do is kind of move the assembly back and forth to get that glue to soak into the spider. Once you have the glue kind of soaked into it, now you want to clamp it. Take spring clamps, put them on between every spoke of the basket, like so. You also want to make sure that your recone isn't pushed down too far, because if you push down too far, the edges will tend to curl up slightly from the landing. So what you want to do is you want to lift the assembly up slightly to where the spider is just above optimum level. That way it helps push the landing of the spider against the landing of the basket better. And now you spray it with activator. Now once sprayed with activator, I let that sit for about 20 minutes, half an hour. You don't want to use too much activator or you will get a white spot, and what that is that's the bloom from the CA glue. If you don't use any activator, you'll get a lot of white, and it'll also show up on the bottom of the cone because the glue has kind of like a fume that it lets off. And what the activator does is it seals the top of the glue so that the fume can't escape from it, and therefore gives you a cleaner look. This time what I'll do is I'll attach my leads to the terminate here. Sometimes to make this easier, some of these terminates will be threaded on the end, and what you can do is take an eyelet and put an eyelet on the end of the leads itself, slip it over, and it can be bolted on directly. This is a different style. This needs to be soldered on. If your leads are sewn in, then you just need enough that spider at maximum excursion is not going to stretch the leads. If If your leads are not sewn in, then you need to make sure that there is enough room for the spider at full excursion. These are not sewn in. Okay, the leads are now in place. And with these specific terminates, I usually run them through the bottom up when they're not sewn in. That way you don't have a bunch of leads sticking up against the cone to make it slap harder. So what you want to do is you want to apply a little bit of acid flux and solder them in. Or if you have solder that has an acid core in it, you can use that also, but I prefer acid core on everything, or acid flux on everything, as opposed to regular rosin. It actually helps etch it and give you a better connection. And it's definitely a must. You have to have that when you're soldering on aluminum leads. These aren't aluminum, these are copper, so it's a little easier, but if you have aluminum leads on the top, you have to have acid flux in order to etch the aluminum, otherwise it will not solder. Okay, my leads are now soldered in. Now what I want to do is I want to clip off the excess lead wire that's sticking up out of the top.